Hey guys, how's it going? So, what I want to talk about in this episode is about how open you should be with other people about your condition. And it's a long title, but it's a clear title, so the title is understandable. And this came to my mind because what I've noticed is that people who have borderline personality disorder, or not just borderline, but any kind of other personality or other kind of psychiatric condition, there are two kinds of people, right? There's one kind of people who is very open, wants to share, and there's one kind of people that is not open, quiet. And there's one kind, there's a third kind of people who are extremely defensive and in denial. And I'm going to talk about the three categories of people. Now, there might be other categories of people, but this is what I observed. And I'm going to start off talking about this kind of person. The person who has a condition, and the condition is diagnosed, and this person chooses to share this condition with as many people as possible. So it's not just sharing with friends, but they share it online, and they might use their actual names online while posting on forums, while talking on the internet, while making YouTube videos, vlogs, for example. I mean, I've read about people who have borderline personality disorder and their bosses at work knew about the conditions. That's how open they were about sharing this condition. And when you ask them, hey, why do you share this condition? They say, hey, everyone has to know. There's a strong argument that you have to let people around you know that you have the condition, because this, it's their right to know that you have this so they can avoid you or they can take measures against you. Well, let me tell you something. I think these kinds of people who fall into this category have a certain trait or a certain trend. They get diagnosed early. So you find out that during their teenage years, they're already diagnosed and they know about the condition. Now, what does this lead to? This leads to potential mismanagement, because it's always harder to deal with the condition if you're still a teenager. And that is because as a teenager, you're still growing up and you still don't have your opinions really solidly made up about certain things in life, and you're influential. That is common among teenagers, and that's why mismanagement or management in general is harder. That leads to a self-realization of frustration. Because if you're diagnosed as a teenager and you're struggling with it and management is not working and therapists are not able to reach you, and you don't really understand what medications do, you don't really understand what the condition is and how it's influencing yourself, this leads to frustration. And frustration leads to anxiety, and when you're anxious, you want to remove this anxiety, you want to just live free. So you say, fuck it. I'm going to just tell everyone that I have the condition so everyone leaves me alone or deals with me while knowing that I have it, so I don't have to regulate my behavior regulation. I don't have to do that, right? Because people now know that I have the condition, so why do I have to regulate myself? Why do I have to behave normally if people know that I have the condition, right? I can just be myself and I can have fun. And then I tell you that, yeah, but this is not good, because if you're very open about the condition and you want to start to progress in your career, it's not going to work out that effectively. So you're going to say, hey, I'm not that ambitious as a person. So live freely means also, to an extent, that you're lacking ambition in life. And this is not just for people who have the condition. So these two parts here, this is actually something that happens to many people, whether they have the condition or not. So this is related to a mindset of lacking ambition or certain goals in life, and wanting to live free without worries. And this usually happens when you're a teenager, when you're still a young adult and you still don't really have much goals. And then suddenly you fall into the vacuum of life, which is you get a relationship. And this leads to peer pressure and comparison. And I can say this as a guy, because as a guy, if you lack ambition and you want to live free and you fall into a relationship, you're going to immediately compare your social economic status and your income and what you can provide to your partner compared to other people. And then you realize that, hey, the life that I'm living, the lack of qualifications, the lack of serious work is not enough to make myself live a really nice life, just like my other friend who has, I don't know, a high paying job and a high degree and whatsoever. So then you start to feel conflicted about this. And this is not just for borderline, this is for any kind of young adult who's falling into the vacuum of life, which is this year. So they start to lack confidence in this live free, no ambition kind of lifestyle and just have fun. So they start to progress in their career because they realize that now they have to do it, because it's not really that fun. You have more expenditures, you have more things that you want to do in life, and you just realize that you have to have a proper living to be able to do that. And that is something important to realize for any kind of person who is tackling life, that it's a chance. And it's not just for relationships, it's also for something more meaningful, which is life equals to an opportunity. Why? Not just because it's a generic sentence to say, but because you as a human have higher possibilities of altering your environment. So if you're a dog or if you're a cat, you're not able to alter your environment. The life of cats and dogs, or animals in general, is very similar within the species. So every cat lives like the other cat. There's no cat that excels. No cat can come up with a change in their environment. It doesn't happen because their brain is structured differently. But you as a human, you have high capacities of altering your environment, and it doesn't matter what kind of human you are. And I'm not saying this because it's some kind of motivational talk. No, this is an observation of humans as a species. You have the capabilities of changing and altering your environment. So life is an opportunity, and you suddenly realize that, hey, it is true, I can do things in life that distinguishes me from something else. I can have purpose in life, I can have meaning. And you find out what that opportunity is, but you know that this opportunity exists, right? Now, let's go back to the example when you have borderline. You have borderline, and you've been living by this motto, and then suddenly you come to the realization of this year and this year. You realize that, hey, life is not that bad. I have a relationship, I want to progress, I have certain meaning in life, and now I want to start continuing fulfilling these two things because I finally want to put some more meaning into my life. And you've been very open about sharing your condition. We're still talking about this category of people. You've been very open about sharing it, so everybody knows. Your classmates know, your friends know, even your previous work and job employers know about your condition. And now suddenly you realize that, hey, I want to go back. So you start to apply for jobs, and you realize that these jobs, they look into your medical history. And your previous employers stated that, hey, this guy's unstable. You don't get the job. And even if you get the job, you're not going to get the management level. You're not going to get the hierarchy of the job because everyone knows that you have the condition. You've been very open about it. Your name is everywhere on the internet. They just search your name in Google. They find your Reddit account, your YouTube, your vlogs about how you're open about sharing the condition and how it's affecting your life and blah blah. And you find out that you're getting refused. You don't get the job, and even if you get it, you cannot progress in the management level. Now, what about if you want to be a freelancer? What about if you want to start a business, and you talk to your friends? Hey, I have this business idea, and what about if we work together? Yeah, they are your friends, but they realize that you're fundamentally flawed because the condition. And they don't want to risk their money, which is for people one of the most important constituents of life. They don't want to risk it with someone who's fundamentally flawed. Because here's the thing, people don't understand what the condition is. People just know that you have a psychiatric condition, but they don't understand what the condition is. They don't know how this condition is manifesting itself on your personality, on your behaviors. They just know that there's a psychiatric problem, that you're unstable, you're flawed. They don't know how and how it's affecting you. And they don't have the time or the effort or the willingness to find out more about this condition because nothing is really relating them to you that much. Yes, they're your friends, but it goes to an extent, right? So then you find out that they're not really willing to work with you on businesses. And you cannot work alone in life, no matter how much of an introvert or of a certain guy or person you are who works alone. You're always going to have to work with other people around you. And the more they know about your condition, the worse it is for you. So now you realize that the lifestyle of self-pity, that you were getting from other people, and compassion and mercy is not really paying off that good if you want to fulfill these two things. And now you start to feel regret. I wish I wasn't that open about it. And I'm going to tell you something. Doctors don't do this. So doctors treat your information with high confidentiality. And that means that they keep your information secret without your deliberate consent about sharing it. They don't share your information because they know that sharing this information can reflect negatively on your life. So they want to help you as much as possible while compromising the damage that can happen to you. And one of the ways of achieving it is by having a high confidentiality. So they highly respect your condition, and they highly respect the fact that you have the condition, and they don't want to share it with anyone because they know it can be used against you. And this means they have a high level of respect towards you and your condition. So I'm asking you, the person who's living in a very open model life of sharing the condition, why is a doctor respecting your condition so much that he is treating the confidentialities to such a high level while you are not doing the same? You're not dealing your condition with high confidentiality. You're not doing it. It means you're not respecting your condition that much as medical professionals do towards you. And you, as a person who has the condition, you have to respect yourself to the highest level possible. That means you have to treat yourself with the highest level of confidentiality as possible. Only share the condition with people that are important to you, like close family and partners in relationships. And if you're a person who has lots of partnerships and lots of relationships, don't share it. Don't share it. Don't share it unless you're going to marry a person or really commit to the person. If you're still finding out who you're dating, you date this and that person, don't just share it because it feels romantic to share that you have a condition. Because these people talk. Once the relationship ends, they go and they talk. And this is just bad. So share it only with really close family and close friends, and not so you can get compassion, and not so you can get pity from those people, but rather because it's a responsibility to share it with those people because you deal with them on a daily basis. You don't want pity, you don't want mercy, you don't want a special kind of treatment. You want this. You want to be able to have a leading life with a leading relationship, with being able to provide for your partner, with having a life of opportunity, which life is about, and being able to make things happen in life. And if you didn't reach this realization yet, you're going to reach this realization at a later point in life because this is natural. So prepare yourself for that from now. Don't get driven into the kind of volatile lifestyle of wanting an ambition-free life or a life with no frustration and no anxiety. Don't let this dictate your life. Let this dictate your life, because this is what's going to come down to at the end. So that's what I'm saying. You have to have a high confidentiality for your condition. And this does not have anything to do with not having confidence in yourself. This doesn't have to do with the fact that, hey, I have a flaw and I want to hide it from other people, and that shouldn't be the case. I should be open about it. Everyone should accept me. And that's not how the world works. The world works with very practical means. That means if people know that you have a condition, they're not going to put you in positions of responsibility and jobs with meaning. They're going to put you in positions that are not responsible positions, because that's how the world works. People work in a very efficient way. They don't let emotions and morals dictate their work. So they don't let the emotion of, hey, you have to have acceptance for every kinds of people. This kind of moral does not dictate how the world functions. People function with what is safe, and they base that on logic. And that's why you have to adapt to that, because you want to fulfill these two things in life. And I know it sounds ruthless, but that's how it is. You have a strategic approach to life. You want to have a strategic and planned approach to life, and that's why this approach is a very immature approach. It's an approach that you do to relieve your anxiety and frustration, but not an approach to have a long-term vision in life. So treat your condition with high confidentiality, just like doctors do. Just like doctors treat your information with high confidentiality, do the same towards yourself. That is self-respect. And that leads to people who are not open about it, who are quiet about it, who know that in the real world, it's not an asset to have a condition, and that's why they treat it with high confidentiality. They know that people are assholes, and that people around them are ruthless. That's why they're very careful about sharing it. And that's how it's supposed to be. These people make it. They can make things in life happen. This and that and this. You become passionate about borderline. You want to start helping people about borderline. You can't, because you can't make your ideas come true. You need a funding source. You need a business to run. You need to do this and that. They're quiet, they're strategic, and they're planned in their approach, so they can make these things happen. They can make the world a better place. They can make use of opportunity. They can be in a relationship in which they can give and provide to their partners, and the partners are fully convinced about the relationship and how it's beneficial. And then you have people who are defensive and in denial. These people try to achieve things in life, but they're in complete denial of the condition, which leads to a dysregulation of behavior. Dysregulation. So they don't even try to fix their behaviors because they're in denial of the condition. And that's a dangerous part. You don't want to be here, because this leads to crumbling and destruction. And this leads to no opportunities and mismanagement from other people, while this leads to a most planned and strategic approach in life. And that's why this should be your way. Treat yourself with confidentiality, and be proud of yourself, be confident of yourself, but not about the things that other people don't approve of. And you're not basing your life around other people, but you're confining the damage that you could potentially receive from other people. And these are two concepts that you have to differentiate. You have to know the difference between self-pride and between being strategic and planned in your approach in life. So thanks guys for watching the video, and I hope you liked it. I hope it provided some help to an extent. Alright guys.